What impact do stereotypical gender roles have on motherhood practices in India? Discuss with the help of suitable examples from day to day life. Gender and family. First question is stereotypical gender roles in India assign women the primary responsibility for childcare, household management, and emotional labor, while men are seen as the providers. These entrenched norms deeply influence motherhood. Entrenched. Entrenched. Deeply influence motherhood practices, shaping how mothers raise children, manage households, and negotiate personal aspirations. First is the reinforcement of traditional roles. Women are expected to prioritize domestic rule to the extent that the duties over personal or the professional goals. Example, a working mother may have to leave her job or reduce work hours to care for children, while fathers rarely adjust their work schedules for household responsibilities. And the pressure to conform to ideal motherhood. सोसाइटी थोड़ी सी भी नहीं है ना तरस नहीं है ना Society often defines the good mother as self sacrificing, nurturing, and fully devoted to children. Mothers are judged if they hire help for household chores or pursue careers, reinforcing guilt and limiting autonomy. Unequal division of the labor. Household chores and childcare are seen as the woman's work, leading to the double burden, balancing paid employment with the reproductive work. Example, a mother returning from office may still cook, clean, and help children with the homework, while fathers may not participate equally. Influence on the child rearing practices. Gendered expectations shape how mothers socialize children, often reinforcing patriarchal norms. Example, girls may be taught domestic skills while boys are encouraged to be independent and career focused. The mental and the emotional stress. Continuous pressure to meet societal expectations affects mothers' well being, causing stress, anxiety, and the reduced leisure. Example, mothers juggling full time jobs and household duties may experience burnout due to unrealistic societal standards. Mental and emotional stress. Influence on child rearing practices. Stereotypical gender roles in India limit mothers' choices, reinforce inequalities, and perpetuate patriarchal norms in society. Challenging these stereotypes through shared domestic responsibilities, supportive policies, and awareness can help create a more equitable environment for motherhood. Do you think the caste and the class difference matter in terms of the motherhood? Explain with the help of examples that you may have come across. Caste and class significantly shape motherhood practices in India, influencing resources, expectations, and the social pressure. Here is a detailed explanation with example. Caste, class, and motherhood in India. Motherhood is not experienced uniformly, it is deeply affected by the social hierarchies, caste identities, and the economic class. These factors determine access to resources, support systems, opportunities, and societal expectation. Class differences, economic resources influence childcare, healthcare, and education. Example, middle and upper class mothers often hire domestic help, send children to quality schools, and can balance careers with the motherhood. Conversely, mothers from the lower income families may lack access to childcare, nutrition, or healthcare and must juggle long working hours with the domestic responsibilities. Class also affects decision making in motherhood. Upper class women may have more autonomy in the family planning and child rearing practices, while poorer women may face restrictions due to financial dependency or the societal pressure. The caste differences caste shapes social expectation, access to opportunities, and norms around motherhood. Example, in certain upper caste communities, women may face strict expectations regarding family honor, arranged marriages, and the early childbearing. In marginalized castes, women often engage in the labor intensive work labor intensive work alongside childcare and the societal discrimination may limit access to healthcare, education, or government support programs. Caste discrimination may also affect maternal health. Dalit women, for instance, may face barriers in accessing hospitals or nutrition schemes, influencing their experience of the motherhood. The combined impact, the intersection of the caste and class often determines the intensity of the workload, autonomy, and societal judgment faced by the mothers. Combined impact. Example, a Dalit working class mother may experience both economic hardship and the social stigma, while an upper class, middle class mother may face pressure to conform to idealized notions of the perfect motherhood, but has more material resources to manage them. The caste and the class deeply matter in the shaping motherhood practices in India. They influence resources, autonomy, social expectations, and experiences, making motherhood highly unequal and context dependent. Addressing these inequalities requires social reforms, inclusive policies, and awareness to ensure the better maternal support across communities. Discuss some obvious links between the patriarchy, capitalism, surrogacy in your own words. Patriarchy, capitalism, and surrogacy also. And surrogacy. So, surrogacy, where a woman carries a child for someone else, can be analyzed through the lenses of the patriarchy and capitalism. Both systems shape how women's bodies and the reproductive labor are used and the valued. Patriarchy assigns women the primary role of childbearing and the caregiving, viewing these as the natural duties rather than the choices. In surrogacy, these expectation is extended to women from economically vulnerable backgrounds whose reproductive labor is socially undervalued but expected. Example, women in rural areas may be encouraged or pressured to become surrogates to provide for their families. Capitalism commodifies reproductive labor, turning childbirth into a service for clients who can afford it. So, surrogacy becomes a market transaction where women are paid to bear children, often under contracts dictated by economic interests rather than the woman's autonomy. Example, private fertility clinics in India or the other countries operate in a highly competitive market, prioritizing profit over the surrogate mother's well-being. Intersection of the patriarchy and capitalism. Patriarchy provides a social justification women's body for the reproduction, while capitalism provides the economic incentive reproduction as a source of income. This intersection often exploits women from the marginalized communities who bear physical, emotional, and the social risk with the limited support. Examples, surrogate mothers may face health complications, social stigma, or the limited legal protections, while wealthier clients benefit from the service. Surrogacy sits at the intersection of the patriarchy and capitalism. Women's reproductive labor is simultaneously expected by society and monetized by the market, reflecting broader inequalities in the gender and class. Recognizing these links is crucial for the ethical and the legal reforms that protects women's rights. So, surrogacy sits at the intersection of patriarchy and capitalism, respected by society and monetized by market, reflecting broader inequalities. What do you understand by the notion of the mother nation as maternal metaphor? Explain in your own words. Mother nation. The phrase mother nation refers to the way a country is often imagined or represented as a mother figure. In this metaphor, the nation is seen as the nurturing, protective, and the sacred, similar to how a mother cares for her children, citizens. Especially women are expected to show loyalty, sacrifice, and devotion to the nation, much like the love and duty traditionally associated with the motherhood. The key points are the patriotic symbolism. The nation is depicted as a mother who provides security and identity to her citizens. People are called to defend, serve, or protect her, creating a story emotional bond. Then we have the gendered expectation. The metaphor often uses feminine qualities, nurturing, self sacrificing, and enduring, while citizens, especially men, are expected to protect the motherland, linking gender roles to nationalism. Emotional and the moral appeal. By framing the nation as a mother, governments and social institutions encourage patriotism, obedience, and moral responsibility, appealing to deep seated emotion of the care, duty, and reverence. Then we have the culture and the political usage. In India, terms like the Bharat Mata symbolize the country as a mother figure inspiring devotion, pride, and sometimes justifying sacrifice for national causes. The Mother Nation metaphor connects national identity with the maternal symbolism, linking citizenship, duty, and the gendered cultural norms. While it evokes loyalty and unity, it also reinforces traditional ideas of the motherhood and woman's role in society. बड़ा धक्का मोड़ते हैं, बढ़ के नहीं. What is functionalist explanation of the family? Functionalist. What is functionalist explanation of family? The functionalist perspective in sociology view the family as a key social institution that performs essential functions for society and its members. Functionalists emphasize how families contribute to social stability, cohesion, and the proper functioning of society. Key functions of the family are the reproduction, socialization, economic support, emotional and the psychological support, regulation of the sexual behavior, social placement. Key functions are the Talcott Parsons emphasizes the nuclear family as essential for the modern industrial society. George Murdoch identifies universal function of the family across cultures. George Murdoch. From a functionalist perspective, the family is vital for the societal stability, continuity, and the individual well being, serving multiple economic, social, reproductive, and emotional functions. Explain gender socialization in India and how it affects women's lives within the family. Gender socialization is a process through which individuals learn societal expectations, norms, and roles associated with their gender. In India, this process begins from birth and is deeply influenced by the family, community, religion, media, and education. It teaches boys and girls what is considered appropriate behavior for their gender, shaping identity, attitudes, and opportunities throughout life. Gender socialization in India, early childhood, girls are often encouraged to be obedient, caring, and domestic, while boys are taught to be assertive, independent, and decision makers. Education and play, toys, books, and school activities reinforce traditional gender roles. Girls with the dolls and the household related tasks, boys with the action figures and the leadership roles. Cultural and religious norms, festival rituals, and the family practices often emphasize women's roles as the caregivers, daughters, and wives, while men are seen as the providers and protectors. Impact on the woman's life within the family reinforces domestic roles. Women are expected to manage household chores, child care, and elder care, even if they pursue education or employment. Limits decision making power. Gender norms often give men authority over financial decisions, children's education, and the family matters. Restricting women's autonomy perpetuates the double burden. Working women must balance paid employment and domestic responsibilities, leading to stress and limited career growth. Influences marriage and motherhood. Socialization pressure women to marry early, prioritize family over personal aspiration, and conform to adults of the good wife and good mothers. Shapes self perception. The constant reinforcement of the gender roles can affect women's confidence, ambitions, and sense of agency, keeping them in the subordinate positions within the household. In India, gender socialization reinforces patriarchal norms within the family, shaping women's roles, responsibilities, and opportunities. Challenging these norms is essential to achieve gender equality, shared domestic responsibilities, and empowerment of the woman. Gender social and how it affects women's early childhood, impact on women's life, reinforce the domestic role. Explain Dalit feminist critique of the family ideology and its relation to caste in India. Marriage is a flow in the middle of a ruptured blood vessel. This critique of family ideology and relation to Dalit feminism examines the intersection of the gender, caste, and class, highlighting how patriarchal family structures within India often perpetuate caste based oppression, unlike mainstream feminist perspectives that sometimes focus mainly on the gender. Dalit feminism emphasizes that the caste hierarchies and the untouchability deeply shape women's lives within the families and communities. Critique of the family ideology. Mainstream family ideology often idolizes the nuclear or the joint family as a space of care and protection. Dalit feminists argue that for Dalit women, the family is not always a source of protection. Instead, it can reinforce caste oppression, control over sexuality, and labor exploitation. Women often face early marriage, childbearing responsibilities, and the caste based restrictions while simultaneously providing labor for family survival. Caste intersects with gender to limit women's autonomy and the mobility. The patriarchal family within Dalit communities may enforce traditional roles while external upper caste structure impose additional discrimination and the violence. Dalit women experience a double marginalization, oppression from the patriarchal family norms and the systemic caste-based discrimination in society. Feminist critique challenges the universalization of the family as a safe, nurturing space, showing that the caste hierarchies shape experiences of the violence, labor, and the control within households. It emphasizes the need to consider caste along with the gender when analyzing family labor and the social inequalities. Conclusion. Feminist critics reveal that the family ideology cannot be understood solely through the gender lenses. In India, caste and patriarchy intersect to influence Dalit women's roles, responsibilities, and the vulnerabilities, highlighting the importance of the intersectional approaches in understanding social inequalities. What is heteronormativity and how does it violate rights of the different members of the family? Heteronormativity is a belief or social system that assumes heterosexuality as a default or the normal sexual orientation and enforces traditional gender roles. It implies that men and women must follow specific roles in relationships, family life, and society, often privileging heterosexual unions while marginalizing the other identities, sexual orientation, and the family arrangements. So, how heteronormative violates rights within the family? First, it marginalizes the LGBTQ plus members, marginalizes the LGBTQ BTQ plus members. Non heterosexual family members may face discrimination, exclusion, or forced conformity, violating their right to identity, love, and partnership. Example: a gay or transgender child may be pressured to marry heterosexually, or a same sex couple may be denied recognition as the family. It reinforces gender roles. Heteronormativity reinforces rigid expectation, women as caregivers, men as providers, limiting personal choice, career, and the lifestyle of the decisions. Example: a daughter may be expected to manage household duties despite pursuing education or employment. Suppresses individual autonomy. Family members are often denied the right to make choices about their bodies, relationship, and the life paths. Example: lesbian or the transgender individuals may face exclusion from the inheritance, property rights, or family decision making. It perpetuates violence and the stigma. Deviating from heteronormative norms can result in the emotional abuse, social ostracism, or physical violence within the family. Explain the feminist theories of the marriage. Feminist studies of the marriage critically analyze how the institution of the marriage reinforces gender inequality and patriarchy. Unlike traditional views that see marriage as a natural or the neutral social institution, feminist perspective argue that marriages often perpetuates women's subordination economically, socially, and emotionally. Then we have the Marxist feminist perspective, views marriage in terms of economic and the